It was already a leap to plant trees and take up land that I already had from my hay production, because I still had a fair amount of cattle at the time when I implemented it. And alley cropping is basically the idea that there's 2 crops, maybe even more, in rows. There's really no set rule as to what the plants need to be or the product. And for me, it just happened to be cider apple trees with hay. Hi, I'm Nick Pate from Raising Cane Ranch in Snohomish, Washington. I applied for the Western Cider grant with the idea that we would compare a new alley cropping plot and contrast that to an existing alley cropping, same hay, same spacing, and same generally apple trees, and use the existing hay field as a control. And those 3 plots, just sort of seeing what maybe are the differences. I'm not a fortune teller. I can't see the future as to why the ecological and economic benefits of agroforestry are. And that's sort of the whole reason the Western Cider research project was really important, because you don't know. And the only way to find out is to try and maybe make a mistake, or maybe come away, you know, kind of with the jackpot, like, oh, I got this. I do believe strongly that from the ecological point of view, it makes sense. With the trees, the structure, now there's a height structure, there's an element, a new element, it's kind of a vertical element. Maybe there's going to be a bird that lands on it that normally wouldn't, because it'd have to fly across the whole hayfield. I noticed today when we were out there that there was a big wasp nest that we should all avoid. So you get those curious factors, and I think that to me is the big surprise, where it's like the root structure brings in mycelium, and there's sort of a new element to the root structure, and not to mention the fact that the roots are going to capture more water, whether it's a heavy rain year. This is my hayfield. This is what in the Western Cider grant was the control. I think the roots of the trees act like, if they're branching out and the flow is moving this way, I would imagine they're like small hurdles just to flow of water, and they trap some of that moisture. And so there's sort of, once you get out here, it's almost like it's like a track field without the hurdles. The alley cropping was a very lush, very dense grass. The unfortunate thing in measuring it was very hard for me to harvest it. I couldn't get that close to my trees. It was never just as clean and as efficient as it was in the hayfield, when that was specifically what you were doing. When we purchased the farm in 2006, the previous farmer was running a hay and beef cattle operation, and we ran with that for a few years. It just economically it just put us in the hole. And when you have an opportunity like Western Cider to sort of help out, to take away some of that initial cost, it's just very important. We have the results. There were slight differences in the soil, especially the existing alley cropping. You know, the trees had been there 5 years, so there was some slight, more biodiversity, and it's kind of exciting soils and grasses, like the diversity of grasses, clovers, fescue, timothy, just a lot of good diversity in the grass. The alley cropping plots had higher numbers of nitrogen and some of the things that matter for your cattle over the control. Like any scientific experiment, you want people to duplicate what you've tried to do, and maybe to better results or worse, and prove you wrong or prove you even more right. You're reading what the land needs, you're reading what the land can hold and benefit from, and then you're also looking at what you can benefit from and what you want to do. I happen to like hard cider, and so that worked out well too. I'm about to pour one of my favorite ciders at Riverview Road Cidery. It's our Scrumpy. It's a kind of an English variety based on, loosely for us, wild fermentation. It uses, all the apples hit the farm here, and you basically just press, get the juice, put it in your fermenter, and let it do its thing. There's no sweetener, it's just what it is. It's the most unrefined, there's no sulfites, because that would kill the wild yeasts. So it's the purest cider at our farm. Sarah allowed me to take that risk of an experiment, take that risk to do the alley cropping. Because of the paying for the trees and some of the composts and the mulches, The alley cropping really fit well. It kept the majority of the hay, the kind of prairie type of ecosystem. I'm imagining the apple trees will grow and it'll slowly kind of change from a prairie to more of a kind of forested type of system. The opportunities are enormous as to what we can do in all the different environments. For me on the floodplain, for instance, or somebody on the hill or near the mountains, there's just a tremendous amount of opportunity for small farmers, for large farmers to implement these for their own benefit and I mean honestly the benefit for the water, the air, and for the climate.